Today, we begin with a problem that the federal government is spending hundreds of millions of dollars in Florida to fix. A problem you might not have experienced. That's because most of us can send an email from our cell phone or watch videos on a laptop at home and not think twice about it. But for tens of thousands of Floridians, the digital divide is real. And for others, the struggle is cell service. And we're not talking about remote communities. In many cases, our communications infrastructure hasn't kept pace with our region's booming growth.
Hey, you should try and run there.
Well, no, that's not logical.
Movie night is no fun at Veronica Allen's house in Lehigh Acres. Get to the cliffhanger, and here's what happens.
Sometimes I...
Buffering has been a constant problem ever since Allen moved to Southwest Florida about 2 years ago. She says she never even thought about internet access when she lived in Broward County.
I come home and my phone automatically connects. Turn on the TV, you watch whatever you want to watch, no problem. And, it just seems like normal things, like it's supposed to happen, right? And then you come here and nothing works.
It doesn't work because her internet provider doesn't offer her neighborhood faster internet speeds. She and her neighbors only have access to older DSL or phone lines, which can't keep up with their digital devices. Despite searching, she couldn't find a company that would provide home broadband or fiber technology, and so she has to find a piecemeal solution.
I have through Verizon a hotspot for work. And then for my son and brother to be able to play video games, I have a different internet box for them.
This piecemeal approach is taking a toll on her budget. She spends about $400 a month just to get the internet she needs.
And so it's very surprising that nowadays it's not kind of being built into the communities because you would think that it's something that is almost like you needing to go and get groceries. So why wouldn't it be available to everybody?
Allen is not alone. While the number of people without home internet access has fallen, the state of Florida says an estimated 200,000 locations still have limited digital access, which can mean they are unserved or underserved. The problem is growth. While areas like Lehigh Acres are booming, they're still substantially east of more populated cities. And communications companies need enough customers in an area for it to make financial sense to build that infrastructure. Homeowners aren't the only ones struggling with a lack of communications infrastructure.
Well, you've got more of a killing over here where you're digging right now.
It's a safety issue, and we're trying our best to do everything we can to solve the problem with the resources that we have.
Deputy Fire Chief Joshua Bauer with the Greater Naples Fire District says the lack of this technology can be a problem for dispatching crews to exact locations and maintaining communication in some parts of East Collier.
So we need internet and we need radio coverage. There's areas in this county where we don't have either one of those. So that puts a burden on our responders.
Bauer worries about communications with parts of Golden Gate and Ave Maria, as well as more remote areas. Paper maps are on hand to help find locations when all else fails. And Bauer says Starlink, a satellite internet service, has been a big help. But it's still not a quick fix, and that can put colleagues and the community at risk.
So when these brush fires happen and we get into areas where there's no cell coverage and no internet and no radio coverage, we're relying on bringing out technology.
In Veronica Allen's case, a permanent fix to her internet problem is coming soon. Comcast will be delivering fiber internet service to her neighborhood within the next few months.
It will be a game changer.
Michelle Oyola McGovern, a vice president with Comcast, says Allen's internet speed will be 1,000 times faster than it is now. McGovern says the federal investment of $1.5 billion to the state of Florida has also been a game changer. Those dollars are aimed at getting digital access to all Floridians.
The digital disparity in this country is really something that makes a difference in people's lives. And when you have access to the internet, that opens up possibilities for jobs that you may not be able to otherwise have. That opens up the possibility of your kids being able to have access to online school. It opens the possibility to telehealth. Once they have access to this broadband, the sky's the limit.
Comcast is just one of several providers tasked with connecting Floridians, a mission McGovern says could not have happened without government investment. Allen is thrilled a solution is finally on the horizon.
Can you imagine? How would you feel in my shoes? Would you be excited? I think everybody would.
But for Chief Bauer, there is no quick fix.
We had a situation not too long ago where we lost a tower out on the interstate for a little while, and there was a section of the interstate that had no coverage whatsoever. There was no cell coverage, there was no radio coverage, there was no nothing until that tower got replaced. So when it goes down, there's no backup.
So if somebody had called for help from 911 at that moment?
It's very likely they wouldn't have gotten through.
While the fire department waits and hopes that private companies will improve cell and radio coverage at some point, there is ongoing federal investment of money to improve digital connectivity statewide. We spoke with Florida Commerce Secretary Alex Kelly about government funding for this issue. He says in the last 7 years, adding state monies to the huge federal investment means about $2 billion overall have gone to improving connectivity. Kelly says sharing the cost with private companies to get things like fiber lines to homes is the only way to combat the digital divide in an effective way.
The connectivity of people who are more remotely located, or maybe even if they're in an urban area, but the infrastructure is just older infrastructure, the connectivity for those people really could take quite a long time, could take years. So this kind of public-private partnership, it really accelerates that connectivity.
This investment means about 95% of buildings in our state now have adequate connectivity coverage. They hope to get that number to 100% by 2028.